My name is Audrey Jang. I'm 22 years old and I was born in Gwangju, South Korea. I grew up in Koreatown. I went to a Catholic school from kindergarten through ninth grade. And so that Catholic school upbringing and my Korean American church really defined my social life and also extracurricular activities. I think I had a pretty sheltered life, like it's very particular, like the Catholic school experience. And then I went to boarding school, so I went away from home in Koreatown and went to Connecticut for 4 years. And then I went to Pomona College, coming back to California. I didn't really want to come back to California, but that made the most sense financially, so I did that, and it was a really good experience. My mom was a school teacher, or she taught in a hagwon, and she met my dad after going on blind dates 30 times. And they met, and in 15 days they got engaged. And my dad was studying at UCLA at the time. He was like on the process of getting a PhD. My parents like had their like honeymoon phase like in America, in this apartment actually, and when it was almost time for me to be born, my grandpa had cancer, so they had to go back, and they had me there and then brought me back. So I was just born in Korea, but I never really lived there. My dad actually doesn't live here. Our family's like kirogi, like he lives in Korea, and he's lived in Korea for 10 years. And my mom and my sister and I live here. They're not technically divorced. From what I know, he started the UCLA PhD program, but he quickly developed an interest in computer network engineering 3 years later. So he started a business. That company lasted for a while, but it sort of went down in 2008. But it stayed as a shell company to maintain our immigration status. My dad went to Korea around the same time because he needed to help his parents with their land. And then the South Korean government was trying to take it away, is how my father has described it to me. And so he felt the filial duty to go back and help his parents out. And from what I've observed, I think just the work that he did, helping his parents out, also served his own ambitions and interests. So he stayed, and it's sort of still contentious between my parents. They're never gonna get divorced, it seems, but it's still being figured out, and I'm still piecing together things. So yeah, I was in 3rd grade when he went back, and he would come back every year or so, but it became more and more infrequent. And in high school, I think that was sort of the time when he sort of went completely radio silent for a bit, because I still don't know all the details, but the economy was really bad, or his work wasn't going very well. So, and that period was when my mom had to start working. She had to start working a little before that, but and I was trying to go to boarding school and trying to figure that out, realizing I'm not a citizen, I don't have a green card, so I have to work harder for financial aid because I can't do FAFSA. So I think that's when it sort of came I became curious more, so I started asking more questions. I think just the term money, 돈, was such a present thing. I never identified as low income. I don't think I really felt ashamed of it as well. I think we had a healthy relationship, but I understood that we are of a low income household, never really asked why or whatnot. All I knew was that I needed to work hard and get a scholarship if I wanted to do what I wanted to do, which is go to boarding school in that specific point in my time. And I also realized that not being born in the States was a huge hindrance. I didn't quite understand the details of why, but I just knew that not having a green card meant getting scholarships was much harder. And that sort of led to the series of questions like, why don't I have a green card? I've been living here my whole life. I've never lived in Korea. And it sort of came like very slowly. Like once the anxiety of getting into college was resolved, first of all, I started asking more questions. I got my green card last January. So the anxiety sort of like spiked as I was reaching graduation because I was quickly realizing that after college, like I might have to go back to Korea and like I might not be able to come back. So I think the curiosity was sparked in high school because I had to apply to high school and I had to get financial aid. That's what like brought it into my consciousness. Most, I think, undocumented students or people experiencing similarities in immigration status realize in like applying for college. But I learned of it as I was applying to high school. So I feel like I've had a longer, like 4 years of longer relationship with that question, even though I was not mature enough to sort of seek out answers. The last time I went to Korea was this past summer. And before that, the last time I went to Korea was in 3rd grade when my dad sort of permanently moved to Korea. I didn't know that it was going to be permanent. As I said, I was just living my life of like going to camp or whatnot. I just didn't question why we didn't go back to Korea. But it turns out when you leave the country, you have to renew your visa. We were just extending our visa status. Our visa had expired, but you can't extend your status if you leave the country. So it sort of became this weird like product of a lot of immigration laws that I had to stay in America. I couldn't leave the country. So I didn't leave the country for 13 years. And as I was approaching graduation of college, I was being hit with the fact that like if my status in America wasn't resolved, I would either become undocumented or I could like get like a F1 visa, a student visa, and go to grad school, which was like what I was trying to do. Or I go back to Korea and I try to renew or like get another visa, which was like a 50-50 chance. And yeah, so those were the options. And I just didn't know what it was like. Like America is all I knew with my conscious adult life. So we weren't really talking to my dad very often. I still am not in very like close contact with my father. My mom said that it was because our like phone card expired, but that's like not really even an excuse. Like I think she was just tired in her relationship with my father and thus like didn't lay a bridge for me. And I didn't have like an adult relationship with my dad until I went to Korea last summer. So it was just like, if I go to Korea, I assume I'll live with my dad, but I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what Korea looks like. I don't remember anything. So it was anxiety inducing. I was just trying to stay here. I was just trying to get into grad school. I didn't really have time to like think it through why I was anxious and scared and trying so hard. So I see sort of 2 paths for my 5-year plan. I really want to live in Korea for a while as a Korean American because I think I know I was never supposed to grow up here. That was not part of the plan for my parents. They were planning on going back with me and my sister after my dad was done. It feels like sort of a mistake. When I went back for the first time, I just felt like there was a ghost Audrey, or not even Audrey, Yeonsuk, like who could have existed but never did. And just learning about everything that is South Korean culture as an adult was so different, but also so familiar. So I want to give time to that part. But also I have this life that I have lived in America, and I think coming back from Korea really like highlighted the fact that Los Angeles is my home because it has felt like a homecoming, and And I want to grow as the Audrey that I am here as well. So it's sort of like a toss-up. Like, I don't know if I will like actively have found a job in Korea so I can pursue that part of my life, I guess, or I could be in LA or maybe in New York. I don't know. I think if I had become undocumented or if I hadn't been able to leave and visit Korea, I think I would have had but a more understandable Korean American experience of like, oh, like, you know, find a job, develop a career, become a professional, hopefully be successful enough to be a speaker at NCLC, like sort of give back to the Korean American community, knowing who I am. But when I went to Korea, I think my fluency really helped me immerse. And I was there for 3 months. And in 5 years, I would have gotten my citizenship for America. So I would be able to live in Korea without coming back, which is funny. It's just all very funny. So short answer is that I see 2 paths, and I don't know which one is going to happen. And maybe I won't even take either. I don't know where life is going to take me, obviously. My name is Audrey Jang, and this is my Korean American story.